Official Wandering Weekends campground review for Mistletoe State Park near Appling, Georgia. Welcome back, friends. So glad you're here. If it is your first time with us, I'm going to explain a little bit how we do our campground reviews. We break our campground reviews down into 6 different categories. We score those categories, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. And the categories are accessibility, scenery, atmosphere, cost, comforts, and kid-friendly. So let's get started. First up on the list is accessibility, and Mistletoe doesn't do too bad here. It is over 10 miles off of the major interstate, I-20, near Augusta. And once you get inside the campground, the roads do narrow a bit. This just isn't built, a lot of these campgrounds just aren't built for some of these massive rigs. I do think you'll fit, but you'll have to take it slow. And then some of the campsites, they are a little bit shorter. None of them look terribly uneven, but some of them are short, so make sure that you have that information on your reservation. All in all, it scores a 7 on accessibility. Next up is a really good one, scenery, and Mistletoe does really well here. There are a lot of campsites on the water, and most of them will give you a sunrise and a sunset, which is hard to get sometimes. So it scores an easy 9 for scenery. Next category for Mistletoe State Park is atmosphere, and Mistletoe does very well here. The staff was extremely friendly. The size of the campsites were good. Some of them were a little shorter, but you got a nice area to camp in. No parties, no inappropriate behavior, and we even got to meet a couple of subscribers. A big shout out to Gary and Sherry. Great to meet you guys. Mistletoe State Park scores a perfect 10 on atmosphere. Just like all of our other Georgia state parks, Mistletoe State Park scores a 5 on cost. You can find this chart over at wanderingweekends.com. We break down how we determine cost, and like all of our other state parks, Mistletoe scores a 5. Next up is comforts, and Mistletoe does not score well here, but that's completely subjective. So some people might like the fact that Mistletoe is a good ways away from virtually anything, but we like to get out and piddle and shop and go out maybe one night to eat. There wasn't really that option. You had to travel a significant distance for that, so that hurt the score. Again, like I say, some people might like that. The campground amenities were good. It's a Georgia state park, so you can imagine there's rentals available and there's several playgrounds. The bathhouse was a good ways away, so it's probably the farthest we've had to walk for a bathhouse. All in all, Mistletoe State Park scores a 3 on comforts. We always save our favorite category for last, and that is kid-friendly, and Mistletoe does pretty darn good here. The playgrounds were in pretty good shape. There was plenty of recreation for kids. They actually had a St. Patrick's Day geocache going on that we completed. The kids love that. They love finding those geocaches. Townley always seems to make friends. The demographic of campers was pretty good. The campground traffic wasn't bad at all. We didn't really have to worry about that. And the campsite was okay. There was a lot of riprap because we were lakefront. So you're going to have to be careful with that in the summertime. There's no telling what kind of critters might be in those rocks. And obviously with a big body of water, we can't give it a perfect score. It's pretty to look at, but there is a constant attention for a Beckett for sure. So all in all, it scores really well. It scores an 8 on kid-friendly. All right, on to the bonus round, and we do this because some campgrounds deserve some credit for things they do exceptionally well, and Mistletoe's no different. They have 2 dump stations, and that scores them a bonus point, so thank you, Mistletoe. Add everything together, and Mistletoe State Park scores a very respectable 43. Now, the one glaring issue here is the comfort score, and some of you may love the fact that it takes a good while to get to town or get to a grocery store, and you're more secluded. I totally get that, so that's one good way you can make your own interpretations of the campground scores, but we have to score them all the same, and Mistletoe still comes out fairly well at a 43. When it's all said and done, we would certainly return to Mistletoe State Park. We had a great trip. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe.